you get late on in the battle area and you are returning home and it gets dark, what will you do? You will pile up on the way. So they would, every time I did this with them, they would embrace me and say, 1 kilo of blood has increased in us. You have given us that much of time and training, and we are now competent. Then I told them, I said, don't worry about the enemy air. In the area that you float around, you have slow speed, he cannot do anything to you. So he says, sir, how can it be? We are very slow. We have got no ammunition or weapon to fight back. I said, look, I'll show you. I asked the squadron commander. I said, you come up. I sat with Atma Singh in the Krushak. For 1 hour the battle continued over the airfield. Not one time the hunter could point a nose towards the little aeroplane. Because he turns a shorter radius. Every time he turned inside him, he could not turn around and face every time. But you have to keep him in sight. You lose the sight of him, he sneak in from some direction and make a pass. But that we did not allow it to happen. 1 hour the whole station watched Atma Singh and me in the Krushak, and Wing Commander Conquest, this one commander overhead, not a scratch, nothing he could do. So when I did this, Atma Singh embraced me. Sir, 1 kilo of blood again has gone up, because now we know we can survive in battle. That was the state.
Sir, any of your pilots you specially remember for his act in the wars?
Yes. There is one pilot who is no more now. He died only early this year through cancer. Kuki Suresh, Flight Lieutenant Suresh. He later joined the HAL and very good fighter pilot. VRC. He was firing at a tank. When he was firing at a tank, the tank gun fired at him. Normally the small arm is fired, the tank hollow fired at him. So he got wilted with the flash and he went little close and pulled out. When he pulled out, he scraped the ground. He just scraped the sand. The tailpipe got little bent at the back. Other than that, no scratch to the aeroplane, 1 or 2 holes which we just patched repaired. And we changed the pipe, put the other pipe behind it. No other damage. Nobody lost, no loss at all.
So when you flew over the company defended locality, what did you see? I mean in terms of enemy tanks vis-a-vis our boys.
No, it would be wrong for me to say. I had written instructions from Western Air Command that since I am the commander, I am not to get into the enemy territory and only defensive action. So I used to carry out the cap over a field but not allowed to go there. And secondly, I had no time. I had no number 2 to fight the war. I could leave my things to somebody. I could not hand over the battle to anybody. I had to conduct it myself. So for me to go into the enemy territory was not there. But if commander had agreed, then I would have taken it. Then I would have put the squadron commander to hold the force. But otherwise, normally just for the heck of it getting into the enemy territory, I was debarred. And all commanders are debarred.
Yes,
today.
what was
if I am shot down, who will run the base?
What was the initial reaction of your pilots who flew over the defended locality of Longewala for the first time?
Seeing was believing. They were so excited. They were so loud on the RT that here's a tank. There is another one running up and I'm going in for him. I've blown him up. He's burning like that. The conversations were going. I wish the recorders were there and we could sort of have recorded all this. But there was a total excitement, no fear, and people were wanting to go again and again. In fact, I had to maintain a list who's gone, who's come back, the people fighting, that is my turn again. That was the thing.
How many fighter pilots did you have, sir, on the base with you?
I had, I think, 8 fighter pilots, 6 aeroplanes. And those 2 aeroplanes were the trainers. Those trainers were kept in the ORP, in the pens, with 2 pilots strapped in all the time to be scrambled at short notice. If the enemy did come over, we should be able to tackle him. So those 2 were not released for attack.
What was the reaction of the boys, that is the army boys who had taken the defences along with Brigadier Chandpuri, now that time Major Chandpuri? What was the reaction of that company boys when they first saw the aircrafts flying over?
I believe they were carrying out Bhangra dances. They were so happy that the aeroplanes have come and they were carrying out Bhangra over there, outside. but they were very few. Let me caution you. As it is, the company was very, very weak company there. The GOC had taken majority of the people to fight with him. He'd taken the weapons as well as the manpower. Only small manpower were 15, 20 people, maybe 25 people were left behind. And out of those 25, some had scooted. Some had scooted, that happens. Desertion happens. They found later, I believe, in Ramgarh and this place and that place. But when I landed up there, the Subedar was there, the Major was there, and I was offered a cup of tea, glass of tea.
When you landed there, sir, the battle had yet to break over?
Huh?
When you landed there and met Major Chandpuri, the battle developed thereafter? Or
No. Battle full day was going on, and I went only on receipt of the signal that दुश्मन की हवाई फौज ने नाक में दम कर दिया है, 40% हलाक और तबाह हो चुके हैं. Only then I removed the doors of the helicopter and went there. I went during the battle.
Yes, sir.
Because I knew that I had broken his back.
Yes.
His backbone was broken, so I landed up there. And I went there and he offered me tea. And I still remember till date, there were so many flies that I could not drink the tea. If I opened them out, the flies would get in. I was holding the glass like this. The moment I did this, or they would get inside. I couldn't drink that tea.
There were how many? Sir, that was fifth morning.
Fifth evening.
Evening. Right, sir. So, in hindsight, sir, do you feel any shortcomings noticed by you which need improvement?
Shortcomings that were on the airfields have been made up now by turning them into mini wings. You can believe it. I did not have even a BPI, the bulk petroleum depot. I did not have fuel to give to aeroplanes. I had dug pits and put rubberized tanks in them below the surface, so that if one is hit, the others don't. So I scattered them over the airfield, and those tanks were below the surface at ground level on top. No splinter damage could cause damage to it. They were rubber like the tube of the truck or the tire. And they were inflated. But they are not hollow in the middle. They are tanks made like this, like a carpet.
Yes.
It blows up like this.
Yes.
So we were feeding fuel from these. I had 14 such tanks deployed. So all that with no runway lighting. Can you imagine one incident I must tell you? It was evening time when I was sitting in my tent. Tent was in a nala, in a trench dug there, and my office was there. So I was sitting there in the evening time. It was not, the hostilities had not started yet. Jodhpur was our air defense headquarters. They scrambled my 2 aeroplanes. The 2 aeroplanes were scrambled. These were the fighters at that time. The hostilities had not started. So the fighters were doing the air defense duty. So they were taken towards Jodhpur on some track which turned out to be spurious later. When the track was spurious, it had got dark, and I am sitting in the thing. When I hear the roar, 2 aeroplanes take off, I get excited. What's happened suddenly? The darkness is coming up and no one realized. But those 11 people on either side made them stand by. Now these aeroplanes were taken for all legitimate reasons or logical reasons. They should have been recovered in Jodhpur, which has electric lighting. When the pilot said, if it is spurious track, you are sending us back to Jaisalmer, we have no lights. At that time, my pilots did not know that I had made these arrangements, and these goosenecks were lying on the side, on the edge of the runway. They did not, it never struck them maybe. A few days they had been there only, and they hardly noticed them. So very reluctantly, they said, okay, if you can't recover us, then we have to go. They were preparing, we may have to eject. So I heard this conversation. By that time I was in the CCC, Cap Command Control, and I said, what's the problem? He said that they are not accepting us, they are routing us back. I said, don't worry, this is the homing return. I'm a traffic controller also. I'm done the course also. So I got them back. So they came overhead. So I told them, now you are overhead. And they came overhead and they said, runway not in sight. I said, don't worry. Made them turn the longer way, made them descend in the safe area, and got them onto the downwind. And they said, we are on downwind, undercarriage down and green, runway not in sight. So I said, don't worry,